The dream, and it was real peaceful. It was a sunny day. It was a beautiful day. It was peaceful. And all of a sudden, I saw jets, but they were really like regular commercial airplanes. The first one came from the west, and it was the United States flag. And it started firing shots. The plane left. The other one came from the east. It started firing shots. Then all of a sudden, it disappeared. It was a plane that was coming from the north. And it started firing shots. Then all of a sudden, it left. And then another plane came from the south, and it started firing shots. And all of a sudden the smoke left, and they all had their flag symbol on them. I just looked around, and all of a sudden when I looked up after the shots were fired, the sky cleared, a beautiful sky, blue sky, like nothing ever happened. And I remember seeing a portal come out, and I saw two men come out, and asking them, do y'all know what happened? Do you know this? And I was very hysterical. I was like, do you know what happened? This happened, this happened, this happened. They both looked at each other and said, end time. And so when they said it, I was like, oh my God. So my heart, it just felt like it just dropped.
About war, please show me something. Please confirm if these messages are true, if they are from you. And so when I went to sleep last night, I had a dream. I had a very long dream, and the dream itself had various scenes, which I won't share because they were personal to me. However, one of the scenes definitely stood out. In the scene, my sister and I entered into a plane, and as soon as the plane took off, there were missiles in the sky. It was daytime. The missiles lit up the sky. There were buildings that were leveled because of bombs. And we were in the plane panicking because obviously we're a light. We're in the sky when these things are happening. We're seeing them happen in real time. And I just remember at some point we were flying over a large body of water, and all of a sudden a missile hit the water, and a mushroom cloud of fire, that's the only way I can explain it, a mushroom cloud of fire emitted from the water. And I woke up, and that was the dream. And so that was God's confirmation for me that a war 100% will be coming. There will be missiles. It will hit the water. And so I do urge you to please test the spirit by the spirit. Test the spirit behind this message to see if the message is from God.
I'm coming here to tell y'all about this dream I had. This is look, anybody that personally know me would know I ain't a person to sit out here and just say some stuff that ain't true or exaggerate on something that's not the case, right? So in this dream, this is literally like last night, like a couple hours ago. I'm literally about to get in my truck and start working for the day, and I'm telling y'all this before I start up. So in the dream, I was in this backyard, and the vibe that I kind of was getting was like I don't know, post-apocalyptic end of the world type of vibe, but not really. It wasn't like on no Purge type of end of the world type of stuff, but it was like you can tell it was kind of bad. You know, it wasn't no food or nothing like that. But long story short, I had these 50-gallon drums. That's what they call it. And for people that don't know what that is, you ever seen like those big old oil barrels? They look like that, but it's plastic. And it was raining, and the rain was going inside of the plastic container things, filling them up. And I guess that's what we were drinking, and somehow we were like filtering it out and stuff, filtering the water, make sure it's clean. I don't know how we were doing it, because I just remember this part of the dream. But I heard this audible voice, right? I heard an audible voice. It wasn't like no thunder and lightning and all of that stuff like people say. It wasn't like that. It was a stern voice, but it was calm. And it said, prepare, there is famine coming upon the land. Famine like we never seen before, right? Simple as that. And then I woke up, and when I woke up, I don't know, it was like this atmosphere was like, it was like a seriousness in the room. My wife was still sleeping or whatever, so I'm just on my back just thinking like, dang, you know. And then I tried, like 5 minutes later, I tried to go back to sleep. But when I tried to go back to sleep, I heard this like boom, and it was like in my mind. If that was weird, it was like a lightning strike, but it was in my mind, like trying to wake me up. It was like God trying to wake me up, like, nah, bro, I ain't finished yet. So, but I didn't realize that was God saying at the time. So when that happened, I got up and I was like looking around or whatever. Then 5 minutes later, I got tired. I tried to go back to sleep, and I heard boom. I heard another at the same time, but it was like in my mind, kind of like it woke you. It was weird to explain. Y'all probably think I'm crazy, but it is what it is. And then I woke up, and when I woke up, when I woke up, then I heard God, but this wasn't audible. This was in my spirit. Said like, prepare. It's war coming. You know, it's war. So war and famine. That's what I'm getting to. And this TikTok video or wherever I posted, this is a warning video, man. Get y'all spirits right. Get y'all hearts right. I don't know nothing about like prepping and stuff like that. I'd be lying if I told you I did. But what I'm saying is, God wouldn't show me the dream if it's too late to prepare for it. Now, I'm not a person to add to or take away what God tells me, so that's exactly what he told me. He didn't tell me when, he didn't tell me where or anything like that. But if he's telling me prepare, that means it's coming soon, so I wouldn't procrastinate on it. You know what I'm saying? Pray about it. What I'm telling you, if you feel a peace, do it. If you don't feel a peace, that's on you. I did my job. Y'all do yours.
So I just wanted to go further into the dream. I was thinking about the dream I just posted, and there was something else I thought to add. If you haven't seen the dream, it's basically about lots of people being displaced from their homes during end times, and I believe possibly during World War III. And what I wanted to say, like in the dream, when my husband told me that, when I asked him, can't we stay somewhere nicer? And he said to me, no, we need to practice for end times. I felt like God was saying in the dream that there's like a lot of people that are going to be unprepared, because in the dream there were people all packed like on top of each other. If you go back to the last video I posted the dream about all these people just like sleeping on top of each other in tents. Sleeping on top of each other. What I noticed about the dream was that none of them were sleeping in tents. Everyone was just sleeping in sleeping bags. So it was almost like people were unprepared. And what I felt like God was saying in the dream is that people need to be prepared for World War III and what's going to happen, possibly if World War III breaks out, and need to be prepared for end times, need to be prepared with gear and stuff, because in the dream it's like no one was prepared because they were all just sleeping in sleeping bags. No time to get tents. They didn't have any tents even to like cover themselves, and there were just crowds and crowds of people basically piled on top of each other, sleeping pretty much like on top of each other and right next to the toilet in just a sleeping bag. So I felt like in the dream God was telling me that people need to be prepared for end times and what's coming.
So I had this VR type of first-hand point of view for the war that's supposed to be coming to America soon. In Luke chapter 21 verse 9, he tells us, you will hear of wars and commotions, but do not be fearful of what's to come, because these things must come to pass before his return. So this is just to make everybody aware. He already said that nation will rise against nation and kingdom versus kingdom. But then later on in chapter 21 verse 34, he says that we need to take heed. We shouldn't be focused on partying, drinking, and the cares of this life, so that we can be ready whenever the day comes unexpectedly. And he says that it will come as a snare upon everyone who dwells upon the earth. So we always have to be watchful and praying so that we may be counted worthy to escape all of these things that must take place. And in Psalm 91, he says, he who dwells in the secret place with the Most High, those that seek refuge and fortress in the Lord and put their trust in him, he'll deliver them from the snare of the fowler. Also protect us from the perilous pestilences that are coming about. COVID and monkeypox have started back up, so he tells us not to be afraid of what's to come. So in the dream, I was surrounded by complete strangers, and I was at this party at this house outside in the yard, and everyone around me was just eating, drinking, dancing, you know, having a good time. And then out of nowhere, the host of the party, he got on the mic and he said, they're coming. It was like an announcement. He got off of the stage and started walking through the crowd, and as he passed in front of me, I stopped him and I asked him, what did he mean they're coming? And he said, the people with the guns. And he had passed me up into the crowd, so I continued to just walk around and observe and everything. And then a few minutes later, he came back and he said, they're here. And everybody started looking around confused, and then gunshots started ringing out. And you started seeing people fall to the ground, and people were screaming, and everyone just took off running in different directions. As soon as I started seeing the bodies hitting the ground, I took off running the opposite direction. So I got to the end of the driveway, and there was this fence leading into the next yard. And so I looked over the fence because I was going to jump the fence, so I run around the fence to get to the next yard, and they had gunmen running from that direction too. I saw two more. So I had turned back around, and I went the direction I had just came, and I bumped into this young dude. He was about 18 to 20, and he pulled out this gun on me trying to shoot me, thinking I was one of the enemies, but we were both just running for our life. We were both just bystanders, but we wrestled with each other over that gun because I didn't want him to shoot me, and I grabbed the gun out of his hand. And so the guy was like, don't shoot, don't shoot. And I was like, I'm not gonna shoot, but you don't shoot me either. And he said, okay. And then I handed him the gun back, and he took back off running, and I went back the direction I was going. And I knew that we both was just trying to make it out of there alive because there was bodies bleeding out all over the ground surrounding us in this yard. So I keep going, and once I was about to turn the corner, I heard footsteps coming from around. So I was looking around trying to see what can I do, where can I go? And there was nowhere to go, so I just dropped to the ground on my stomach, and I laid there and I played dead. Like, I had to really think on my feet and think fast, so I just turned my head away so he couldn't see that I was still alive and breathing, and I was trying to hold my breath. So a few seconds passed, I could still hear the footsteps getting closer and closer until it was right above me. So now I'm just holding my breath still, and like I'm running out of air. So I woke up and I could not breathe. Like, I was actually holding my breath in real life because the dream was that vivid. And that's what caused me to wake up, because I was actually running out of oxygen in the real world. Of course, my heart was beating all fast, and I was realizing like that was all a dream. But he allowed me to experience that and witness that terror, because whenever the elect is on earth, even though we're going to be protected, we're still going to be witnessing death and all the terror that's going on in the world. Psalm 91 verse 7, it says, 1,000 may drop dead right next to you, or 10,000 may fall right at your side, but nothing bad will happen to you. That's why it's so important that we repent and turn to Jesus in this time, because you want to have that coverage whenever the judgment is coming on earth. And along with the war, there's going to be a famine in America. So just make sure y'all are racking up on non-perishable foods and bottled water in this moment while it's still early. And also, we need to read Proverbs chapter 10, because it talks about deliverance from death and famine through righteousness. And by that faith, we're given grace to withstand all of these tribulations. And through the tribulations, we'll gain perseverance, character, and hope. So it's not to be afraid of what's to come, but more so to have hope that does not disappoint. Because according to Christ, he will spare the righteous. As long as we sought refuge within him and live the life pleasing unto God, we will be protected. We just have to endure to the end.
Hi guys, so today I'm going to be telling you guys a dream that I had. So over the past couple years, I've had a series of dreams, and they're all like the same scenario pretty much. And I really feel in my heart that they're prophetic, and that's why I'm finally coming on here and telling them, because like it's been on my mind lately, like heavy. So in this dream, it was basically like apocalyptic times, pretty much. Like everything was destroyed. Everyone's running around, screaming. The buildings are falling down. As I was there, there was these giant asteroids coming down and falling on the buildings, falling on people, just burning and destroying everything. And then in the midst of all this chaos, and before I get to that, in the dream, I felt like I was actually there. Like it felt so real, felt so vivid, and like I still remember, like I just had this dream yesterday. And on top of that, it it was like I was there, like everyone was running past me, like they couldn't see me. It was really weird. But anyways, in the midst of all this chaos, I started rising up. I just started rising up, and I'm looking down, and as I'm rising up, I'm going through the clouds, I'm going through the sky, then I'm in space. And when I get to space, I'm looking around and I see a bunch of angels just lined up, and they're huge. They're like 13, 14, 15 foot tall angels, just glowing huge. And they had these bows and arrows, and the arrows were flaming. They were fiery arrows, and they're pulling them back, boom, boom, just shooting them at the earth. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like it was so freaky. And on the way up, when the angel stopped me, and the angel had the scroll in his hand, and he handed it to me, and he said, go warn the people. And I looked at that angel, I looked back at the earth, I said, I ain't going back there. That angel laughed at me, and he took his finger and just right in the center of my forehead, and I woke up. Because they're all kind of the same. It's so scary. And then I found some Bible verses that basically made me believe like these are definitely prophetic dreams. So back to the dream. In the second dream, I had this one last year. I was at this beach. It was like a beach restaurant, and I was sitting outside. And in the dream, like you know how in real life you hear God like speak to you, like he tells you things. In my head, he was like, something told me to look over my shoulder. So I looked over, and I just see this white thing in the sky, like descending. And I'm looking around like, don't nobody else see this? And it was coming out fast. And like, I heard the voice again in my head. He said, this is going to cause a flood. It's going to kill everybody on here. Go warn my people. So then I go again, and I'm just looking around. I'm like telling everybody at the restaurant, like, a flood is coming. There's a flood coming. And then I just go over to the beach houses, and I'm just banging on everyone's door, like, there's an asteroid coming. It's going to flood. Some people laughed at me. Some people ignored me. Other people started following me. And the ones who followed me, we're all the ones who started rising up again. We started rising up, going to the sky. And then as I was going to the sky, we saw everything happen. The asteroid hit the water. A big old wall of water just formed. And then you see like everyone who was laughing that stayed, that didn't listen, they got destroyed. They died. Like when I tell you the wall of water hit them like a semi truck hitting someone, it hit them hard. Like they weren't standing no more. Like they're standing, the wall hit, they're gone. Everything demolished, the buildings, everything was just gone. But I noticed like the same thing he said in my other dream, go warn the people. So that's why I'm on here telling these dreams, because I can't keep this stuff aside. Like, I know the dream was to warn me, but I feel like God wants to use me to warn other people. So just like how I was lifted up in the dreams, when the time comes, the ones who listen, they're going to be lifted up too.
I'm not the only one that have had dreams about a nuclear catastrophe in America. There's many others. The one that I had, I was in New York City. And as I was walking in New York City, I went up in a chariot. And as I was going up in a chariot to the heavens, fire was falling down. I saw like little fireballs, like little umbrella shaped like fire things just falling to the earth. And then I stood back and watched the earth. And as I stood back and I watched the earth, I then saw these spirits just start being, taken up and stuff as I observed. Now, take that as you will, my friend. But America, there's a day coming where God's going to allow any and everything to happen to you. You need to repent.